Alright guys, welcome back to this channel, #Kayuh. My name is Razi, and today we're gonna be talking about how we do outdoor coffee. In particularly how I do my outdoor coffee, which you guys would have seen in some of my videos on social media and YouTube and stuff like that. So here is me sharing with you my recipe and how I do it. So yeah, let's begin. So firstly, what we need is a coffee dripper. Okay, you can use a Hario V60, or what I use here is a Hario Kayuh, which is like a dripper, but it doesn't need a paper filter. It uses a metal mesh filter, and then it's meant for 2 cups lah. Okay, to me it's something that is compact enough for me to bring around, and it has been serving me well. Do note that when you use a metal mesh, over time the dust of the coffee may get stuck on your mesh, and then that might affect the filtration of the coffee. Okay, moving on. Then you have your portable stove. For me, I'm using a butane gas, which is this thing. Alright, and the coffee that I'm using, that I've always been using for my pour over drip, is Starbucks Pike Place Roast. Medium roast that to me is not too overpowering, it's not too strong, and it has a very nice balanced taste. And yeah, I just like it. So if you wanna, in a way, taste the coffee that I always make, try to follow as close as possible lah. You need a grinder, of course, a mug, and what I have here with me is a scale, okay, to show how much of coffee I use with the amount of water that I use to drip the pour over. So yeah, we begin by preparing our coffee, which we are gonna grind to medium fine sort of size. So let me get down to that. For the recipe, I use 18 grams of coffee, which I'm gonna measure with a scale using this portion of the grinder lah. Okay, let's do this. So initially, you sort of need to be a bit precise to how much coffee you want to put in lah. So if you're following this recipe that I'm gonna demonstrate to you, it is 18 grams of coffee. And to make it easier for you to do it outside, you sort of want to make that 18 grams into something more objective, like how many scoops is 18 grams. Then that way you don't have to bring your scale, and you just have to know that whenever I put maybe 1.5 scoop, that is 18 grams. So this is 1 scoop. Yep, it is about 1.5 scoop, and you'll get about 18.5 grams. Slightly over, but I think that's gonna do fine. Alright, so right after you grinded the coffee, you want to pour it into your dripper. And my usual practice is that when I pour the coffee into the dripper, I will do like a small hole in the middle of the coffee for me to pour the water in, and then so that it doesn't flow right out to the sides. Then it will go through the filter without filtering any coffee. So like something like a funnel in the middle. Let me show you. But there's like a funnel there in the middle of the coffee. There's a small hole where I will drip the water in there. Okay, so that's that. I need to boil my water, so I'll be using 300 ml of water with the 18 grams of coffee. Since there is a demarcation of 300 ml on my picture here, we're gonna use that as a gauge. Alright, so that's 300. I'm gonna pour it into my kettle. Always remember to keep your coffee when you are not using it anymore, so so that you don't have unnecessary air, sunlight and humidity that might affect the freshness of your coffee. The best is of course to have a container, but it's okay. Let me just put the coffee back into the pitcher. We are gonna light the stove and boil the water. Let's go. We're gonna let the water boil, which usually takes about 2 minutes or so. So usually for the pour over part, okay, I sort of separate it into 3 main parts, okay. The initial, which is the blooming, where you sort of just want to soak the coffee grinds so that all the CO2 comes out of it, okay, and then just to have the beans to be soaked evenly. That is for the first 30 seconds, and then after that the remaining part is where I'll just pour water till it reach the top, let it drip a little bit, then pour again till reach the top, and then until I finish the whole pour over. So for the bloom part, how much water do I need is usually about 3 times the amount of coffee that you put. So for just now I put 18 grams of coffee, you times that by 3, you get about 54 grams of water. So that is the amount that I'm gonna use to bloom the grinds. Okay, so right where you see steam coming out from the spout, it's pretty much ready. For me, I'm just using a Montbell 600 ml kettle, which is not too big but not too small, just nice for the amount of coffee that I'm making. You can use, of course, the gooseneck. For such coffee preparation like the pour over drip, you need to sort of be precise in terms of your pouring of the water, so that you don't over agitate, or make sure that the distribution or the filtration of the coffee is even. But I think as long as you practice enough, even with a kettle like this, you are able to pour out pretty evenly, right? And we have that hole in the middle of the grounds to help us with the evenness of the water. So I'm gonna start with my blooming, which is up to 54 grams of water. Let's go. You sort of start from the middle and then make a circular sort of motion towards the outer part of the grind. And to bloom it evenly, I like to have some agitation, so I will swirl my dripper a little bit, just to make sure that the water spreads over the whole coffee grinds. And then the rest, I'm not really very precise about it. I'll just go all the way till the water reaches the top of the dripper. For my coffee preparation, I am not worried about the level of agitation because I'm always agitating the coffee. I'm always doing the swirl just to get the water evenly soaking onto the coffee beans. And I just like a more level residue of the coffee. It gives the impression that it's an even extraction. And then we sort of let it go down to a point whereby it's low enough but not showing too much of the coffee grounds, because that would be a bit too low. Then you continue to add more water. So that's all the water that we have for the pour over drip. Right, then just wait and let it do its magic, and time to time you just sort of swirl it so that you evenly get all the grounds touched by the water and extracted. Oh, I forgot to say that I actually put a timer when I was pouring or starting the pour over drip, because I'm aiming for a sweet spot of 3.5 minutes to 4 minutes to brew the coffee. And that's how you gauge whether your grinds are a bit too fine or too coarse. If it's too fine, it's gonna take more than 4 minutes. If it's too coarse, it's gonna be very fast and take less than 3.5 minutes. So 3.5 to 4 minutes should be the sweet spot where you would complete your pour over drip. Okay. When it's too fast, that means the water just runs through the coffee without much filtration. Then you get something more sour and yeah, just sour and light. But if it's too fine, where it takes so long for the water to flow through, then you might over extract the coffee. Then it becomes bitter, which will not be enjoyable. Looking good, and I'm just pouring it out into my camping mug. Do remember to bring like a plastic bag to pour out your coffee grinds when you're done. I didn't bring mine, so I'm just gonna keep it upright in my bag. Then I can wash it when I'm cooking. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is the hashtag Kayuh coffee, so to speak, that I've always been doing in my videos. And this is the, you know, the naked version. If you are a bit if you prefer to have a bit of milk or cream into your coffee, do try to add oat milk by the brand Oatly. This is not a paid video, but somehow with the oat milk, it tastes better with this Starbucks spike taste, in my opinion. And yeah, for today it's just straight up black coffee using the pour over drip method. And let me try. The thing about pour over drip method, right? You know, I've been doing coffee for quite a fair bit. I had an espresso machine at home and all that, so I enjoy that. But when I do a pure black coffee using the pour over drip method, it really brings out the flavor in my opinion, and I taste more than what I usually taste on a flat black coffee. And yeah, it's interesting. It is enjoyable. You don't have to worry about it being bitter at all, because it's not. It's a different spectrum of flavors that you can taste. So for this one, it's a bit more chocolatey in that sense. There's a bit of a caramel taste to it, like a sweet taste to it. But of course, it's very subtle. You're not expecting like a frappuccino kind of taste, but there's some sweetness. Definitely goes well with the Oatly oat milk, so do try that. Coffee purists, don't pick on me, okay? Some people just like coffee with a bit of milk, so it's fine. So yeah, that's the pour over drip coffee, the recipe, the methods. Give it a try. Tell me what you think. Tell me if it's the kind of coffee that you like and enjoy. And you might also want to share in the comment section how you do your coffee, and then maybe we can all experiment and share each other's recipe and get to enjoy more types of coffee. So thank you for watching this video till the end. I hope to see you guys in the next one. And I also would like to give a little bit of a thank you to all those who have supported me by buying the Kayuh batches. I'm down to my last 8 pieces. So thank you for that, and yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Till then, take care, ride safe, and enjoy life as far as possible.